Wow, part two. You guys are really going at this. Now, let's get right to it. Now, you should have already practiced the technique I showed you with clairvoyance for at least 3 weeks and the technique for clairaudience for at least 2 weeks. Now, if you guys haven't already seen those videos, I'll put the links out here to the right of each of those little spots. Click them there if you want to go see them, and I'd highly recommend it before you continue on with this video. Now our focus today is going to be strengthening our connection with the third eye itself. Now for those of you that don't already know, you actually are going to be seeing more within the mind's eye rather than with the physical sight. Something that might come as a surprise to you is that you actually do use the third eye every day, more specifically at night. Because every night you go to sleep. Not because you sleep, but because you dream. Now I understand some of you guys may have some questions. Okay, when you go to sleep, you separate into 3 pieces: the physical mind, the dream mind, and the astral mind. Now let's say down here that this is you. Let's say this is you when you go to sleep. Okay, go to sleep, you got your body's laying down there. Here's your bed, little pillow there. Okay, let's draw a better bed for you. We're gonna go for king size bed. Yeah, that's a much bigger bed. I like that. All right. So you got your dream mind. And that's where all your dreams are going to take place. It's in here. So anything that, with the psychologists and, wish fulfillment or any of those that your physical body is needing to deal with is going to be going on in here. And then you've actually got your physical mind here. And this is actually, surprisingly, still a bit active. But, if it does become more active, it is going to become the strongest of these experiences. And you've got the astral body up here last. Here, I'm going to draw this up here. Now, and you notice right here that I've drawn something here. This is the silver cord, for those of you that don't know. Now, something that you may want to know is, like, why do I not remember any of my experiences with astral projection? Or, like, if I go to sleep every night and I astral project, because that's what I'm implying here, is that you do astral project every night, why do I not remember myself astral projecting, and why do I only remember the dream? Or, something else. Now, here's your answer to your question. The dream mind is usually the strongest of these experiences, and you actually have some bleed-through effect of all 3 of them. And you've actually experienced this before, and you do remember this. Let's say someone's over here, they're speaking, and, it's getting close to before you're waking up, or even maybe you're just in light sleep and you're only lightly dreaming. You're still in dream world, but you're hearing them. Like, the closer the connections become of, like, these two coming back together and you becoming conscious again, the more they're going to experience bleed-over effect, in which the physical mind starts to become more active and becomes the strongest. Now, for the astral over here, that experience is usually goes back into your subconscious unless you learn how to remember what goes on in there. And I may teach you guys that in a later video. Now, what happens to all of these is they all reintegrate, which can be confusing at the very end of the day. And they go into something what I like to call shadow memory, or begin making their transition into shadow memory. So 1, 2, 3, shadow memory. And you have, in between this process here, you've got to be the one to recall before it reaches shadow memory. Otherwise, it's going to be more difficult to reach in there and grab that. So that's what I'm going to tell you right now is you want to, when you wake up, Remember the experiences as quick as you can and recall them. That's the most important thing, is recall, because a lot of people, when they're trying astral projection out the first time, they may have already succeeded, but they didn't remember. That's the important part. Okay, now actually back to the third eye. Now I can see this question already coming up. Is what I see with the third eye going to be as vivid as when I'm dreaming? The answer to that is not at first. And here's why. Because when you're asleep or dreaming, your focus is over there. You're disconnected from the physical body mostly. But when you're here, you're connected to here. And you've got to strengthen the connections within the meridians, the chakras, or more specifically, the third eye, to get a much better visual. Because you're usually within the physical body's vessel. That connection is atrophied, and you've got to strengthen that connection, otherwise you're not going to see it very well, and it's just a mess. Now, to strengthen our connection to the third eye itself, we are going to do an exercise, and you guys are going to follow along if you like, but I would prefer you guys be in nature for this. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find yourself a nice place in nature, preferably maybe by a stream or some trees or under a tree. It doesn't matter, as long as you're in nature. And for this, I'm going to have my little plant to be my little support here. And the basis of this exercise is you're going to be drawing energy from the breath and what's around you, and also from the lower parts of your body, and moving it up into the third eye itself. And it's going to expand, and it kind of, this is what it kind of looks like to me, is, you know, have you seen the brain, those kind of almost, like, it almost seems like wires, but they're connecting to other parts of the brain, and they're just spreading throughout into every facet of the brain itself. This is what it's going to kind of look like here. And what's going to happen is it's going to connect with everything here within your face. So to give you a visual, is you're going to breathe in the air. Okay, so you're breathing in the air. And down here, all that energy from your, just below your stomach here, is you want to, as you breathe in, this energy is going to come up, and it's all going to meet at the third eye itself. So for those of you that have seen my videos before, is you either want to visualize this, or you want to feel the energy moving up through you. And that's how I teach. I move energy by feeling usually, and I also use visualization. I utilize both. So if you want to, you can utilize both. It's up to you. So you want to move them up until they hit here. And what will happen is it's going to, you're going to want to feel it expand or visualize it expanding as this is happening. And this is going to start spreading like little wires. And this is not doing so well. And it's going to connect everywhere. So it's going to spread out through the cheekbones, the nasal passageways, the eyes, forehead, the cheeks down here, the chin. It's going to spread out through your entire face, the back of the neck, back of the head, into the hair. And that's just the beginning. And once you get a little farther in this, you can actually start to spread it throughout the entire body, and then even out to the rest of the aura. So let's say we want to start spreading down here. Alright. Man, this is not marking that well. I wonder why. Okay, it marks down there for some reason. Oh well. But you guys get the point. So I'm going to go through this real quick, just to maybe brief 30 seconds of what I'll do for this exercise. Breathe in. Pull the energy from the bottom. Move it up here, let the third eye expand, let it spread throughout your face, the back of your neck, back of your head. Let it spread throughout your entire head and face, and let it connect to everywhere. Just let it spread, and this may take you a couple of minutes, but I've already practiced with this, so this is pretty easy for me. And then what's going to happen is it's going to come down through your neck later on, and then down to the lower parts of you. And it's just going to connect up with everywhere, because the third eye connects to all the energy systems, and all the chakras interact with each other in some fashion. But this is to get a much better connection to your, not only your sight itself, but also to your extended senses. And while you have your eyes closed and you're doing this, you may see the third eye itself, and it may look something like this within the mind's eye itself. And anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and sorry this took so long to get up. I've been busy with school for the past few weeks and getting that settled in. And if you want to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. Have a great night.